They didn't call him marvelous, so he made them. In a sport built on pain, few fighters ever embodied brutality like Marvin Hagler. No flash, no excuses, no backing from promoters. Just a man, his fists, and a burning need to prove the world wrong. This is not just the story of a champion. This is the story of a man who fought through rejection, politics, and war inside the ring to become one of the most feared middleweights in boxing history. Marvin Hagler was born into struggle. Growing up in Newark, New Jersey, life wasn't easy. Violence surrounded him. Opportunity was limited. Survival was the only goal. But everything changed after the Newark riots. His family was forced to move, searching for a safer place to live. They ended up in Brockton, Massachusetts, a city already famous for producing one of boxing's greatest, Rocky Marciano. But Hagler didn't arrive as a prodigy. He wasn't special. He wasn't gifted. In fact, he got beaten up in his first gym sessions. But something inside him refused to quit. While others relied on talent, Hagler relied on work. He trained harder, ran longer, fought smarter. Day after day, he built himself from nothing. Unlike many fighters, Hagler didn't have hype behind him. No big promoters, no media attention, no easy fights. He had to fight his way up, the hard way. And the system didn't make it easy. Time and time again, he was avoided by top contenders. Why? Because everyone knew fighting Hagler meant going to war. He wasn't flashy, he didn't sell tickets, but he was dangerous, extremely dangerous. As Hagler climbed the ranks, something became clear. He wasn't just tough, he was relentless. His style was simple but terrifying. He could fight orthodox or southpaw, switching stances mid-fight like it was nothing. His chin? Practically unbreakable. His pressure? Constant, suffocating. And once he locked onto his opponent, there was no escape. But despite his dominance, the title shot never came. Years passed. Fights were won, opponents were beaten, yet the opportunity kept slipping away. It wasn't just bad luck, it was politics. Hagler wasn't marketable. He didn't play the game, and in boxing, that matters. But eventually, the world had no choice. They couldn't ignore him anymore. In 1979, Marvin Hagler finally got his shot at the middleweight title against Vito Antuofermo. It was supposed to be his moment, but what happened next shocked everyone. Hagler dominated large parts of the fight. He outworked the champion. He pushed the pace. Yet, the fight was ruled a draw. A draw. The crowd was furious. Experts were stunned. Hagler had done enough, but it still wasn't enough. That night changed him. Something inside Hagler snapped. No more trusting judges. No more leaving it to chance. From that moment on, he fought with one goal: destroy. Just 1 year later, in 1980, Hagler got another chance, this time against Alan Minter in London. But this wasn't just a fight. It was a hostile environment. The crowd was against him. The pressure was intense. But Hagler didn't care. From the opening bell, he attacked. Sharp punches, relentless pressure, pure aggression. Within 3 rounds, it was over. Hagler had done it. He was the new middleweight champion of the world. But even in victory, there was chaos. The crowd erupted in anger. Bottles were thrown into the ring. Hagler had to be rushed out for his own safety. That's the kind of fighter he was. Feared, respected, hated. Now as champion, Hagler didn't slow down. He became even more dangerous. He defended his title again and again, against the best in the division. And every fight followed the same pattern: pressure, power, punishment. One of his most brutal battles came against Roberto Durán. Durán was a legend, a warrior, a 4-division champion. But against Hagler, even Durán struggled. For 15 rounds, they fought a technical war: skill versus strength, strategy versus pressure. And in the end, Hagler proved he was the better man. Then came the fight that defined his career. April 15th, 1985. Hagler versus Thomas Hearns. 2 unstoppable forces, 2 warriors, 1 ring. What happened next became boxing history. From the very first second, there was no feeling out, no patience, just violence. Both fighters came forward, throwing bombs, punch after punch. No defense, no fear. The crowd couldn't believe what they were seeing. 3 minutes of pure chaos. Round 1 of Hagler versus Hearns is still considered the greatest round in boxing history. And it didn't stop there. In round 2, the war continued. Hagler, bleeding from the head, kept pushing forward. Hearns, dangerous as ever, kept firing back. But in round 3, it ended. Hagler landed a devastating right hand. Hearns fell. Knockout. It was over. That fight cemented Hagler's legacy, not just as a champion, but as a warrior. But every story has its final chapter, and for Hagler, it came in 1987, against Sugar Ray Leonard. Leonard was different, fast, smart, charismatic, and after years of retirement, he came back for one reason: to challenge Hagler. The fight was close, very close. Hagler applied pressure. Leonard used speed. Round after round, it went back and forth. But when the final bell rang, the decision shocked the world. Leonard was declared the winner. Controversy exploded. Many believed Hagler had done enough, that he had been robbed, again. And just like that, it was over. Hagler never fought again. No rematch, no farewell. He walked away from boxing, for good. But his legacy? Untouchable. Marvin Hagler wasn't just a fighter. He was a symbol of discipline, of resilience, of pure, relentless determination. He didn't have shortcuts. He didn't have favors. Everything he achieved, he earned. And maybe that's why he remains one of the most respected fighters in boxing history. Because in a sport full of talkers, Hagler let his fists speak, and they spoke loudly. This wasn't just a career, it was war.